Wow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome along to Austar Realty's next webinar. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about today's webinar. A couple of reasons. The lady that I've got coming on, Karen Jackson, is someone that I've known for quite a long time, but it's more the topic that she wants to talk about, or I want her to talk about, I should say as well. That's the most exciting part for me. Just for people that are new to our format, if you've got questions, you can post them in the chat box and we'll try and answer those questions, or get Karen to answer the questions for you. Or you could actually even unmute yourself and ask a question at any time as well. So we don't mind that. This is really a very casual format that we've developed here, where we have people talk and give us information and share information and ideas. Now, I want to, before I introduce Karen to you, I want to talk about how this actually happened today. Karen, I've known for over 10 years, and she's been this incredibly fit person and eats healthily, just always had this very, very bubbly personality. And you would think, yeah, bulletproof, absolutely bulletproof. Anyway, we were having a conversation on the phone a few weeks ago, and we got around to talking about her. And I said, Karen, how you been? She said, well, not great. I've had a very tough recent period in my life. And then she started to open up about the story. And obviously, we're going to hear a lot about that in a moment's time. But it's a great pleasure to welcome you, Karen, to the microphone today. And thank you very, very much for coming along and participating in this. And I'd like to think that the people that are listening and watching this are going to be able to go away and create some good thoughts around their own life and their own health. Now, Karen, as I said a little bit earlier, you're an incredibly fit woman. I think you've been for a run this morning. You go for a run almost every day. I think you do some huge kilometers all the time. How did you find out about having breast cancer? How did that happen? Talk us through it.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me on today. Well, every year I do a health admin check. So that's, I get blood tests done, and this year I was due to have my mammogram, which is every 2 years. So I went along at the end of March, it's just routine, had the mammogram. And then about 10 or so days after having the mammogram, I was out at breakfast actually with some of my team, and I got a call from the breast care centre saying that they had found something that they just need to do some further investigation on. And so I didn't really give it too much thought. They wanted me to they told me the appointment was going to take 2 hours. So I thought, that's a bit weird, but I thought, that's no problem. And I just sort of put it to the side. And I went along for the appointment, and everyone was being super nice, and which was lovely. But I just thought they were being over attentive. And there was a doctor there, and he was doing a biopsy, and he put a clip inside. They were all focusing on my left breast, and he put a clip inside my left breast to mark just in case I needed surgery, so the surgeon knew where to go. And it was at that point I thought, what's going on here? Is this something a little bit more serious? So I said to the doctor, what are we looking at, cancer or something? And he had just this deadpan look on his face, and he said, yes. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So again, I thought, well, it probably isn't going to be. I haven't got any family history of it. And yeah, I'm really fit and I watch what I eat. So of course it's not going to be anything it's not going to happen to me. So I kind of just pushed that to the side until then I got another phone call from the breast care centre to say they needed to see me and to take a support person with them. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit not as in my plan of what was supposed to happen. But anyway, so I went along and met with a surgeon and a nurse who were very, very lovely. And they told me that, yes, they had found, it's what's called DCIS, so it's contained within the milk duct, 10 millimetres. And so it was, nothing to worry about. It was great. I'd had my mammogram early because they've caught it. Nothing to worry about at all. All I'm going to need is a small operation. I'll only need a few hours in hospital and 3 weeks of radiation. and all will be good. You'll be back to normal. So, okay, well that's cool. I can deal with that. That's I've got a plan, and I can deal with it. I did get a little bit worried, I must admit, but I thought, no, it's contained. It's only 10 millimeters. It's hardly anything. That's fine. So yeah, that was the start of it, really. I walked out of the breast care centre with a folder with my name on it, and it said breast cancer and all this information about breast cancer. And I remember going home going, what is this? This just doesn't feel like my kind of life. And I planned to go away the next day. Just coincidence, the appointment was the day before. I planned to go away on this amazing trip with a girlfriend down to the South Island. So I still went away on that trip because, in my mind, we had a plan, and it was just going to be a short operation and radiation. I'll be good to go. So I went away and had this amazing time with my girlfriend. And then came back and had the operation. So that was in April, got that diagnosis, had the operation in May, and thought everything was going to be good, and went back to see the surgeon. In between all that, you get assigned like a breast care nurse. So you have to go see a nurse, and she's the nurse that's going to be with you for the whole time. And you walk into the appointment and there's couches and tissues. And I remember just thinking, I don't even belong here. I don't even know why they're bothering doing this. This is going to be nothing for me. So anyway, go along and have, so I come back, have the operation in May, and everything went well, no problems. The surgeon was happy. And then there was about 2 weeks after that, I went back to see the surgeon to get the results of that surgery, thinking I was just going to get told that surgery was good and that you're planning to start radiation therapy. But unfortunately, at that appointment, the surgeon told me that they found a further 30 millimeters of cancer, and that I would need a full mastectomy. So that just blew me away. I didn't know how to react. My husband was there at the time, and he actually got angry at the surgeon, and she she was very good. I mean, it was just we didn't expect it. It wasn't expected. The goalposts had moved on us. I had a plan, and it didn't work out that way.
Can I just interrupt, Karen? I'm curious to know what that plan was. Can you share a little bit of light before we go to the next reaction, so to speak? Yeah. What was your plan?
So the plan was to have the operation, and then I chose to be really open about this with people in business and also with friends. And so the plan was to have the operation and then start radiation, and have radiation for 3 weeks. It was going to be five days a week for 3 weeks, and then everything was going to be fine. That was my plan. That's what I got told right at the beginning. So that was my plan. And my girlfriends had planned this amazing lunch around the time from after my operation to when I was due to start radiation. I was having this amazing lunch with them. So everything, and we had just worked around that plan that the surgeon had given me at the beginning. Right.
So you're in, if I'm understanding you tried to keep things as normal as possible. Is that right, with your mind?
Absolutely.
How you went about your life, how you dealt with it with your family and all that. Obviously, this is before it went a bit bigger, or quite a bit bigger on you. But your mechanism for coping and dealing with it was just to try and stay as normal as possible in your normal daily life. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't want any fuss. I didn't want, even though I was very open about it, I just wanted everyone just to treat it as normal, because if anyone treated me differently, then I would have to face reality that it is something pretty serious, and I didn't want to have to face that. So I just continued on as if life was normal. I just pushed it to the side. My time to reflect and think about it weirdly enough, was in the shower. That's when I had a lot of time to, I would break down in there, and I don't know whether that just felt like a safe place or not. I have a son who is an adult, he's 30, but I didn't want him to be impacted by it at all. I didn't want him to feel worried or hurt by it. So my son actually works with me as well. So it was really important for me to keep everybody just not at a distance, but just relaxed about it. I didn't want to fuss. I just wanted to carry on with life, because if everything was normal, then I didn't have to face it. I was struggling confronting it. Someone put it to me the other day that it was almost like it was just an inconvenience in my life, and I think that's how I was thinking of it as well.
Just speaking of your family for a moment too, I picked up there that you talked about how your husband got angry. Any other comments around that? Obviously, there must have been massive highs and lows within your family about the whole journey. No, I'm talking now, but well, any other comments around your family, how they dealt with it?
Yeah, so my family's quite small. So there's just myself, my husband and my son, and my mum, and then obviously nieces and nephews. So again, I didn't want my mum to be worried. I just didn't want anyone to be worried. So I didn't really talk about it that much. And I didn't even really talk about it much with my husband either. I opened up a lot to my friends. I think they were the ones that kind of held it all together for me and distracted me. I guess that's how I coped, was not, sure. I just didn't want to talk about it with family.
Yeah, all right. Hey, go back to you started to talk about how you had another meeting with the doctors, and it got a lot more serious. So you can finish that now. Sorry, I interrupted your thinking and talking around that, but yeah.
So that was the second meeting was I got told I needed to have a full mastectomy. So that would be removing my whole left breast. It's called nipple sparing mastectomy. So essentially they just remove the breast tissue, and then they do reconstructive surgery at the same time and put an implant in. So obviously I had to face that, and I actually really liked my boobs. I didn't want to get rid of them. They were a big part that I liked them. I didn't to have your body part removed without you wanting them removed is quite a hard thing to deal with. Yeah. So I thought about it long and hard, and thought that I didn't want to have to go through this again with my other breast. So I decided I wanted to have a double mastectomy.
Wow.
And so what I had to have for that is I had to go and have an MRI done, which is so unladylike. It's just disgusting. You have to lie flat, and it's just horrible. There's no dignity at all in it. But anyway, so I had this MRI, and went to see the surgeon, and she confirmed that there was no cancer in my right breast, which was great, and no cancer behind my nipples, which was also something that was a concern. So my son actually came along with me to that appointment. And I didn't want him to, but he was absolutely adamant. He wanted to come along with me and support me, which was, it turned out to be quite good. So at that appointment, I had one goal in mind, and that was to convince the surgeon that I was going to have a double mastectomy, because they're very reluctant to remove a healthy breast. But I managed to do that. I was convincing enough to her, and she agreed to do the double mastectomy. Wow. And at the same time, I was lucky enough to have a surgeon that did full reconstruction at the same time. So essentially what that would mean is I would have my breast tissue removed and implants put in. So that was again, I had a plan. So I was happy, I had a plan, and that's what I was going to do. So I think that's how I deal with things. If I've got a plan, I do it, and then I just put it to the side, and then when the time comes, I'll deal with how it all feels and the reactions there. So I mentioned before about my friends and how supportive they were. They had an amazing girlfriend arrange a boobs off party. So we had a party where we all got horribly drunk, and there may have been a little bit of streaking in there. But we had a great time, and we had what we called a boobs off party. So we made it a little bit fun, but parts of it were serious as well. But we actually did some pole dancing to start off with. Got some lessons there, so it was a good girls' afternoon and evening.
Sounds like a hen's party to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just without the male strippers. Yeah. So I had all that amazing support there, but what is really was really apparent was I was actually all on my own. Like, even though I have got amazing support, so many people around me, it comes down to me having to deal with it. I'm the one who has to walk into the surgical room. I'm the one who has to deal with the fact my body part is going to be removed, and I'm the one who has to deal with the pain. So yeah, it's kind of surreal feeling actually when and a lonely feeling too, and really sad. I don't think I've ever felt as sad as what I have over this time trying to deal with it. So much crying, but equally feeling lucky that I do have so many people around me to help me through it. And as the surgeon keeps telling me, I caught it early. So that was what I was holding on to.
Right. Can I assume that they were also offering you counselling at the time, or was there any of that involved?
Yeah, so they offered me counselling right at the start, and when I got the very first diagnosis, and I said, no, I don't need counselling, I'm fine. And then when I got the second diagnosis, when they said it had grown and I needed a full mastectomy, they offered me counselling again. I said, no, I don't need it. And the nurse said to me, well, how about I book you in and we get a date, and if you still feel like you don't need it when the day arrives, then just cancel, but let's book you in anyway. And I'm so glad she did, because I've been going to see this amazing counsellor that's helped me talk about things that I haven't talked about with anyone else. And yeah, it's really helped me analyse in my head all my thoughts and I've learned to be really vulnerable. And I think that was one of the things that I had before all this happened, is I didn't really share feelings that much or talk about feelings, but now I've learnt it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to feel sad and to feel heavy and not be in control of things. So yeah.
I guess that leads me into the next question I was going to ask you in my mind was, how has this changed you? And it sounds like that vulnerability is a big part of how it's changed you. Any other things that you've noticed that you've changed your outlook on life, or things that you do for yourself or whatever? Is there any changes there?
Yeah, I think it's still evolving, Len. I think I still have one more operation to go. So I'm still learning lots about myself and how I deal with things. But things that I've changed, I've learned to let some things go. For example, work's not that important. We're all here to earn money, yes, but your health is so important. It's just so important. And when things like this happen, or when you hear of things like this happening to other people, you sort of take a step back and go, yeah, what is actually important in life? And you just got to do things. You just got to, I mean, if COVID's taught us that, we just got to get out and do things right now. Don't put things off. And I think that for me has been the big thing, is not so much focus on work, and really value the people around you, and be around people that add value to your life. Not you don't have to have people there that are just there for the sake of it. It's nice to have people there that are supportive and add value to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's always good comes out of bad, and if that's changed your attitude around that sort of thing, I think it's been marvelous for you in some respects. And I was going to sort of lead into your attitude to your business, and it sounds like you've changed your business life a little bit. Is that Is that right? Or how have you dealt with it with your business? Maybe you could talk to us, before you do that, talk to us how you actually kept your businesses going. And we haven't even highlighted your businesses, and we'll come to talk about them in a moment, I guess. But how did you keep your businesses going while you're going through all this treatment? You know, how did that happen?
I think I'm very lucky. There's a team of about 10 of us here. So, and I have a general manager that looks after both businesses for me. So I'm very lucky in that respect that it was able to continue without me being too hands-on. I've also learned to trust people and to delegate. I think that's when you do own your own business, you tend to want to have control of everything. I've got some amazing people that work for me, and everyone has stood up and has done an incredible job, absolutely incredible job. We've grown in that time as well. It did make me, when I got my first diagnosis, it did make me think about why am I doing all this? Because I did feel like I was, one of those mice on the little wheel thing. I was just going round and round and round, and I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere quickly. So I did sit back and think, how can I change things in that respect? So I did engage in a business broker to have a look at bringing on a business partner, someone that could add value and take some of that load off me. So in between all this, and I think it was quite a nice distraction for me as well. In between all this, I was meeting with people that were interested in becoming a business partner within both businesses, and found someone that I thought I could work with. So we were going through due diligence. I would go in there the day before surgery, or the broker would come up. The broker even came into hospital when I had my double mastectomy and brought in some paperwork for me to look over. And so it was, and I couldn't drive for 2 weeks after one operation. So she came up to my house and was going through all the paperwork. So it was a nice distraction. But out of it all, I've now got a business partner who is actively involved, and I no longer have that feeling of overwhelming of, oh my gosh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I now have someone I can bounce ideas off and can take some of that load for me. So had I not got this diagnosis, I wouldn't have done that. And I actually think I probably would have headed for a bit of a breakdown, because I was on a path of just working.
Classic backup for that philosophy that I live my life on, that things happen for a reason. And now you can look back at it after this and say, well, this is probably the reason that it happened to slow you down.
I believe that too. I really believe that everything, no matter the good and the bad, they all happen for a reason. And it's how they happen for a reason, and you can deal with it. Like it's happening in your life. It comes to you when you can actually deal with it. So I knew I could deal with this, because otherwise it wouldn't be happening to me. It's just how you deal with it. That's the important part. And I mean, what's the alternative? You a little negative and curl up in a ball.
Yeah, Karen, I've read a lot of research that's links stress to cancer. What's your thoughts around it now yourself? Now that you've been through this, can you believe that it possibly is born out of the stress in your life?
100% I do. If you'd asked me that at the beginning of this year, I would have said, no, there's no link at all. You can have that balance, but absolutely stress plays a huge factor in with cancer. In my position, so I get a mammogram done every 2 years, and how they do that, how they read mammograms is there's a panel of health experts, and they have your previous mammogram up on a screen and your current mammogram. So 2 years ago, I didn't have any cancer, and within 2 years, it had grown. So, and I had started a business in those 2 years, so I had doubled my workload. And yeah, like I said, I had felt really overwhelmed. I felt like I was getting places. I was doing things were growing, and work was going great, but I was very stressed. I'd come home at night not even wanting to talk. I was just done for the day. It was just, it was very tough.
I know that feeling well.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to avoid it. I can promise you. Hey, let's talk about your businesses now, because you just don't have one business; you have two businesses. That's obviously would have added a lot of stress in your life. Let's talk about Lifestyle Finance in the first instance. Tell us, what does Lifestyle Finance offer for people? What sort of service are you actually offering with this business?
Okay, so I started Lifestyle Finance about 5 years ago to help vendors pay for the marketing costs. So instead of having to pay for the marketing costs up front, they can pay for it when the house sells. And it was a new product to the market, and it's taken a while to get some traction. But we're every month now, we're having record-breaking month on month, and people are loving it because in the retail world, we're all used to the whole buy now, pay later payment option. And this is essentially what this is for real estate. So yeah, it's doing well, and we're right across all the big brands in real estate. So yeah, enjoying that side of it. I've been in finance for, 28 years. So I really enjoy helping people in that respect.
Yeah. Look, obviously we've used your product extensively over those 5 years and had wonderful results with it. So I'm a great advocate for it as well. Your second business, CDD Outsourcing. Give us a little bit of an insight into what that's all about. And again, we use this company as well in our business.
Yeah, so CDD Outsourcing was started because when the legislation came in back in January 2019, it was brought to my attention by my lawyer, actually. He said, look, this is going to be a really big deal for real estate agents. They're going to have to do a whole lot of paperwork. I think there's an opportunity there to start a business to help them with that, so they can outsource all their anti-money laundering requirements. So without thinking too much about it, decided to start the business. And yeah, we've grown it now, and we thought we could grow it, leveraging off the relationships I had within the industry. And I've been really fortunate enough to be able to do that. And we're across, again, all the major all the brands within real estate. And now we're branching out into lawyers and accountants as well. And we're partnered up with a company that leads the way in New Zealand for technology, AML solutions. So that's been a big bonus for us as well. But yeah, so both businesses are on a real growth pattern at the moment, and looking forward to where they're going to lead to.
Great. Hey, Karen, you talk about now with a business partner, you've got a better balance in your life and how you're going about keeping those businesses growing and developing, and what direction they're going in. What's that balance look like now? How many hours a week would you be working, and what changes have you made around that?
Okay, so I thought I had adjusted my mindset to not work as hard, and to be mindful of how many hours I did do at work. But if I go back to when I had the double mastectomy, and so I had a lot of time to think. I had 6 weeks off work, and after that 6 weeks, I got back into work. And that first week, there was a real estate conference that I went to. I was out socializing, and I remember thinking, gosh, you really haven't changed much. You thought you were going to pull back, and I've really just went back into all my old habits. And we say that everything happens for a reason. So, and I thought that week. And so that was about the Wednesday, I thought that. And then on the Friday, I had pain in my right breast and had to go back to see the breast care nurse. And I had an infection. It looked like I had an infection in my breast. And I had said to her, look, she wanted me to have an ultrasound. And I said, okay, I'll have one. And she wanted me to wait around to get the results of that ultrasound. And I said, I can't, I've got a meeting in the city, I have to go. So she said, okay, well, I'll call you. And so I was in my meeting, and I saw that she had called, so I stepped away from the meeting. And she had said to me, you need to get to the emergency department, they're waiting for you, we need to get you an IV in to you because this infection is serious. And I thought, okay, so we're talking about everything happens for a reason. I had stepped back to my old ways, and now all of a sudden I had to be stopped again. So 4 days in hospital later, and they couldn't fight the infection, so I had to have the implant removed from my right breast. And so that was 6 days in hospital, and on the last day was the day we went into our last lockdown. So I've basically been recovering since then, and this has probably been the hardest part, this one, having that implant removed and having to deal with that and having to deal with how my body looks now.
Interesting. Karen, look, I guess I'd like to ask this question because we've put this webinar on with Breast Cancer Awareness Month being upon us. What advice would you give to any woman that's watching this today? What would you be saying to anyone as from what you've learned from the journey that you've had?
So it's not only women, it's men too that I've learned that actually can get cancer. So yeah. I would say get checked. Make sure you get checked regularly every 2 years. I was talking to my niece yesterday who's only 19 and said to her, just go get checked, just pay the money and go and get checked because you just don't know. So that's the biggest thing one of the things I would say is make sure you get your regular checks, your regular mammograms, because it has literally saved my life. If I didn't get that, it would have become invasive. And it would be a completely different story now. So get that mammogram. Look at life as just go do life. Don't wait around for tomorrow or the next day. Just go do what you want to do today and hang out with people that matter to you. Not, don't have lots of people in your life because you think you have lots of people. Just hang out with people that add value and matter to you. I think of things like my funeral montage. At funerals, you have a photo montage, and I think, what's that going to look like for me? And it's certainly not going to look like I'm working hard and dressed in corporate gear. It'll be out doing adventures, out laughing, out being with friends, and I think that's what life's about, right? It's about looking after yourself first, not everyone else, yourself first, and getting to like you. And then go out and live life. Just go do things.
Well, I think you've just done an amazing job in giving some incredible advice to, yes, not just women. And we've had some personal experience in Austar around men getting breast cancer as well. So it is all people. And, the lessons you've learned along the way and are very, very important. And I just love the fact that you're happy enough to come and share them. We haven't. I don't think we've got any questions there, and maybe it's because some people would prefer to talk privately with you. Am I able to say that they can give you a call, use your contact details, and give you a call if they need some help around what they're dealing with in their life?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Karen, I just want to say a really big thank you for being so open and honest about what you've experienced. I hope that some people are able to take this on board, even if it's not cancer related, but it's just life related. I hope there's some amazing changes that people can make in their life from what you've shared with us today. I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to say a big thank you for being here and sharing this with us, and we really, really appreciate it. We also appreciate all the time that you put into Austar as far as your businesses go as well. You've been magnificent in your support for us over the years with that, and it's a great opportunity for me to say thank you in a public forum. But really appreciate it all, and I'm looking forward to the next step in the journey of Karen Jackson. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Len. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.